So, and at the end, please stay tuned to the end. What I did on a sunny day a couple days ago was I took my drone out to Tucker Park, a gorgeous park right on the James River and Maidens Highway, and it's really pretty out there. It's a quiet rest spot, a respite, if you will, from all the data center chaos around it. So, please stay with me and get some info on things that are happening about data centers and about power lines. Power lines. So the first issue I wanted to talk about is an issue in Northern Virginia, Prince William County. A data center and the Board of Supervisors decided they wanted to build a huge mega center, a hyperscale center, several million square feet, right next to the Manassas battlefield. You'd have been able to hear it, you'd have been able to smell it, you'd have been able to feel it at the battlefield, as well as the people that live around there. And so the people, several people sued, an HOA sued, and several citizens sued. And a lower court awarded them an injunction. So at trial, the citizens won. The Board of Supervisors and the data centers lost the case, and so there was an injunction approved, and they had to stop building it because it was improperly notified, and a lot of other issues, many of the same issues that are present here in Goochland for the TOD. Of course, the city and the data centers appealed, and that appeal went to the appellate court, and the argument was made. I don't remember exactly when it was made, a couple months ago. And they decided a few weeks ago that they agreed with the lower court that the Board of Supervisors and the data centers had improperly processed and notified, and therefore the injunction stood. Well, by this time, the county has spent $12 million of its tax money defending itself against the citizens and taxpayers. $12 million. So they decided not to sue, or not to appeal. But of course, the data centers, being the bottomless pits of money that they are, did appeal to the Virginia Supreme Court. And so that will be heard sometime. I'm not sure if it'll be next fiscal year at some time. But it's pretty incredible that they're doing that. Another thing issue I was sent, that there's a community in Georgia that discovered that a data center that had been plopped down next to them was using all their water. And how do you know that they were using the water? Well, all the citizens in their homes had no water pressure, or very little water pressure. So they began to investigate, and they found that somehow the data center had hooked up two inlets from the community's water system. Two. You'd have thought an inspector would notice that. You would have thought that maybe the people who did it would notice that there's no permits hanging around. You would think that the planners would have known that. But no. So over the period of months that, it was a couple of months, I think, I'm not sure, before this was discovered, they used almost 30 million gallons of water without paying for it. How much is 30 million gallons of water? Well, in the news article, they say that is, I don't remember, 47 Olympic-sized swimming pools. That kind of meaningless to me. But so I looked it up. With 30 million gallons of water, You can irrigate approximately 1,100 acres with 1 inch of water, or 92 acres if you need 12 inches of water, 1 acre, 1 foot per 1 acre-foot per acre. So that's a lot of water that they were perfectly happy to not pay for, and they got without a permit. Without a permit. So the state of Maryland is really kind of unhappy right now with PJM. PJM is the company that manages all of the grid and who gets to connect. And so what PJM does is they allocate the costs according to some probably secret algorithm that they have. And they gave Maryland a $2 billion bill for the year to pay for infrastructure. But none of the infrastructure that they're building in Maryland stays in Maryland. It's kind of like the Valley Link here in Virginia. It goes through areas without providing any benefit to the area other than wrecked fields and land. But in addition to that, Maryland is being asked to kick in $2 billion. Now, the total cost of the new infrastructure this year is $22 billion, and other states are funding that, including Virginia. And we fund that because that's the rules that the State Corporation Commission and PJM operate under, that they build it for the data centers and we citizens pay. The states pay. That's awful. That's awful. The noise complaint, I'm going to put a link down to this too, but the noise complaints are getting a lot more critical. And I think that the noise is getting more attention because it's not just pure decibels. I mean, there's all sorts of different kinds of noise. There's the deep noise that actually travels through the earth and travels through sound barriers, trees, walls, and all that stuff. You just can't stop that. And they're finding that the noise pollution is almost as harmful as the ppm 2.5 pollution. It's causing all sorts of things. And I'm going to post an article again, thanks to my friends out west for sending this. It's pretty significant, I think. There's also a study that I'm going to track down because I know that there's graphics out there. There's a study that shows that the earth and air around a data center like we're going to get in Goochland County, and it's not just one. Once the Board of Supervisors is given over control to a data center, that they no longer have a vote. The data centers will control pretty much all aspects of government, from infrastructure to everything. That's just the way it works. That's the way it works. There's already a lot of mixture between people and agencies. We're seeing that in other counties too, where members of the Economic Development Authority are transitioning immediately or relatively immediately to outside work with data center groups. Not here in Goochland yet, but there's some indications that there's behind the scenes work going on somewhere in our county government. Anyway, like I started to say, the heat is really an issue, and it's going to change the way we live. There are some thoughts on how damaging parking lots can be, parking lots in data centers, because the water runoff completely changes when when you make everything asphalt and buildings, and all of a sudden the rural area and the rural dynamics of the soil and the weather, they all change. And they don't change just from just where that data center is. They change for miles around. Some of the temperature variances are 16 degrees Fahrenheit within a significant range of the data centers. So even the people in Castle Keep are probably not going to have to wear sweaters in the wintertime. So that's all I've got for today. Again, I thank you for the information that you're all sending, and it's very valuable. I'm still collating. It's been an unusual week here, and I have not caught up. I will leave you with some sights of Tucker Park with a recording of some of the birds that I listened to that I recorded on my walkabout in the woods, which is my favorite thing to do. Well, not my favorite thing, but one of my favorite things. Hey, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.